Good morning, Aaron. It's probably Saturday morning for you, but I'm doing this on a Friday night. So here it goes. Basically, thank you for doing the vlog. I thought you wouldn't do it, but anywho, whoops. Yeah, so it was kind of cool, I guess, but I don't watch Doctor Who, so I can't say I have any feelings towards your theory. Maybe if I ended up watching Doctor Who, maybe I'd have an opinion, but so far I do not. So yes, basically, this past weekend I went to something called PAX in Boston. PAX stands for the Penny Arcade Expo, which is a gathering of many game companies such as Riot, Microsoft, and I guess a lot of game-related things were there as well. And basically companies are there to showcase new stuff or their products to sell to people who are going to PAX. Basically, Penny Arcade is a webcomic about video games that apparently got really popular and was big enough to eventually gather enough funds to start a expo in Boston, Seattle, and now Australia. So that was pretty cool. I went with my school, so I got to befriend a lot of them because a 7-hour car trip can start some friendship because you're in the same car for 7 hours, so you have to talk about something. So that was really cool about how I got to meet some new people, got to be friends with them, so that was pretty awesome. But at PAX, I got a lot of free stuff at PAX, from lanyards to beta keys to random things. But the most notable thing is called a Moga, which is a handheld device that connects to your Droid phone and lets you play your Droid games with a controller. That being said, it's specific games to the Moga, so you have to get them off the Moga game store in order to do it, so you can't be playing like Temple Run or Angry Birds on a controller. It's kind of sad. It's a similar concept to the NVIDIA Shield. I didn't get to test that because the lines are too long, but it's kind of cool that casual gaming has taken it to the next level where you can play handheld games on your phone, which is kind of awesome in a way, because now like you get to enjoy the games like Legend of Zelda that you normally play on like a Game Boy Advance or something, but you get to play on a phone. So that's kind of neat. I don't know how the handheld gaming companies will handle this. Like, I know the 3DS is still doing well, but the PSP Vita not so much. So I guess in addition to the 3DS getting so many awesome games, it's a kind of a final nail in the coffin for the Vita. I guess we won't see the Vita ever again for PSP. Anyways, I also got to meet Riot. If you don't know Riot, they're the company that makes League of Legends, and as you know, I'm a pretty avid League of Legends player. So it was really nice getting to meet the people behind League of Legends. I got to meet some designers, I got to meet the people who made some champions, I got to meet artists, coders, programmers, same thing. Yeah, it was really nice getting to meet them and talk to them about the game, like, well, I like this guy over this guy, and other random questions that I asked, but you're not probably interested in that because I have better things to talk about. Anyways, but the main thing about PAX is the indie companies. Now, these indie companies are generally poorly funded. They kind of run minimum money on making games, unlike Microsoft, who has money thrown everywhere, or like Nintendo, who has more money than God. It's kind of like, oh, these companies are all blood, sweat, and tears. Not that I'm not saying that big companies don't put a lot of work into their games. I know for a fact that a lot of the games that Nintendo makes, the producers would sleep at the company to make sure that they spend as much as time possible that they can work on their games. Like these, but indie games, it's a little more than that because they're working on a low budget. They're kind of putting more time into it than knowing that they'll get money. So basically, it was weird because some indie companies were being started with Kickstarters. If you don't know what a Kickstarter is, it's basically it's a website that people can go to, post up a project, and they can say, oh, give us money for this project, and we'll give you these X benefits for X dollars. And it's kind of a cool system where a lot of charities can work off this. I know some webcomics do Kickstarters off like this for like certain projects, like, I don't know, like they're making their first book, but they need like $10,000. So the author would post a Kickstarter saying, hey, if you guys want a book of this webcomic, donate $10 and you'll get this keychain and a signed copy or something like that. And then if enough money is collected, they have the Kickstarter, and then they do it. But some Kickstarters end up being very like high, like more than $100,000. Like I think some went over like $500,000 for Kickstarter for a game, And I really thought about that, like, is it truly an indie company if they have huge funding backing them? I thought what made indie companies was that they're independent and they kind of relied on themselves more so than relying on big sources of money, because yeah, it's nice that they're getting donations and we're getting nice high quality indie games, but is it truly indie if they're not really independently starting it? I don't know. That's been bugging me ever since I thought about that. Like, I see some companies there, like, their booth is just printed paper from like FedEx Kinko's, and their games are kind of very simply done, not very appealing, nothing flashy and crazy going on there, but they definitely showed their devotion to the game, and they were there trying to get everyone possible to play the game. But you got other bigger indie companies who have giant booths ready with giant posters and like multiple computer screens showing off their game. So are they truly indie, or have they become their own company already, thus making them not indie and making it a mainstream game as well? That's just food for thought. I'll see you whenever.